Hello, everybody. It is your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. I am. Let me dress down so y'all don't see my goodies. This is my favorite way to sit. Sorry. Let me get that silenced for you. Okay. So, do some final adjustments here. We got quite a few things to talk about today. Hello, hello. Um, yeah, quite a few things to talk about today. And I am going to be writing some things down as I'm reading some things. So forgive me for not looking you straight in the eye. Had a little bit of a coughing spell, so you might hear me clear my throat. But I can start with what I have in my cup. Yes, I have my Folgers 1850 Black Gold and my caramel macchiato mixed with French vanilla. Both of those are the International Delights creamers. And I also have the rest of my bottle of water, but we got a refrigerator full, so, and we also have the extras sitting over to the side. Y'all, when I tell you we use bottled water for everything, we cook with bottled water, we fill the reservoir to the Keurig with bottled water. Our My youngest grandson gets clean with the bottled water. And his little enclosure is filled with bottled water. Yes. I'm like, baby, he came from the wild. He'll be okay. She's like, no, no, no. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. He's getting the best treatment. That way he knows he's loved. And those of you who don't know, the newest addition to our family is probably about he's closer to 3 inches long now. He's growing very quickly. Um, the eyes still haven't changed color, so it looks like he is a he. His name is Sonic, and he's a box turtle. And he's absolutely gorgeous. He is absolutely gorgeous. And he's feisty, and he seems to have ADHD like the rest of us. So he's right at home. Okay, so you know what I have in my cup. It is slightly overcast today and a little bit breezy. I don't know what the number is, but if I were to guess, I would say probably in the mid to upper 70s. So we have that going on for us today. Those of you who don't know, I now have a moderator. Yes. And she agreed. So when you see somebody come in, if she comes in today, and she will not be here every day, and that's fine. That's fine. We're still babies here. But when you see her with her wrench when she comes in, I want y'all to give it up for her. I want y'all to be like, yay! Just like really, really hype her up. Um, Speaking of babies, I have not yet posted the video star of the week. And that's because I wanted to do a little more research about this person. Um, I listened to their videos and I went back to the very beginning. And in the beginning, they were introducing themselves as Yarn Over. And of course, when I went to look at Yarn Over, I couldn't find him. But I noticed that the new channel name is different. So that's what we're sticking with. He calls himself Papa Crochet. He started his channel March 5th of this year. And as of current, he has 320 subscribers. So we got to go over, and throw some yarn in his window. His name is Matt, and the name of his channel is Gilded Loop Crochet. Gilded Loop Crochet. That's GILDEDLOOP crochet. He's not fond of baby blues. He does make a lot of baby blankets, and he showcases yarn hauls, does yarn reviews and tutorials. It's very easy to watch. He, as so many of us, is also a yarn addict. And he's precious. I think he is absolutely precious. I enjoyed what I did see of him and felt it my duty to share that with you. Okay, now, the reason I will be writing today, or what I can tell you to segue into that, is when I started my channel last year in April, my first goal was to see if I liked it for the first month. If not, I was going to bail out. So I liked the idea of talking and not just talking to myself sitting in my room. So I extended that time to 3 months. At the end of 3 months, I almost gave up. I almost gave up, but I decided to stick it out. I said, I'll give it 6 months and see where this goes. And at the end of 6 months, I think I had reached my 100 videos, and I had my first giveaway, and that felt good. I was like, okay, all right, maybe I'm finding where I should be. So then I tried to, I know everyone had told me, find your niche. And that's cool. But when you are a multifaceted person, it's hard to narrow yourself down to one thing. I love to crochet. I love to show my crochet. I love yarn. I love experiencing different yarns and trying new things. I love creating things, stitches and projects. I love everything about the craft of crocheting. Even those things that are difficult, I find myself not giving up. Case in point, the first time I did amigurumi, oh my goodness, I made what I called a care carrot, a rainbow care carrot. And it turned out so good that I felt like I had to keep going. And then I made a care pear, another care carrot. I made the candy corn to give to the kids for Halloween. And then from there, I was making the snakes for luck of the draw. And they didn't turn out the way I wanted them to turn out. And then I tried to make a sun bunny, and it didn't look like a sun bunny. It was not cute, y'all. It really wasn't. So I scrapped that. I kept the pattern, but I just didn't know what to do. So the first time Mama C tried to teach us to make the giraffe, it was a no-go for me. I tried, and I got up to the body, and whereas the neck should have been probably about this wide, my neck was like that. And I was like, that is not going to hold a head. It's not going to hold a head. I don't know why I keep trying. We're going to put this aside, and we're never going to do it again. Well, when she came back, she was teaching us how to make giraffes again. And I'm like, you know what? I am not a quitter. So I made my 4 giraffe legs. And I didn't make them floppy like everybody else's. I want to attempt my giraffe standing up. If not, we can always just kick the bottom legs out to the side. So we're good there. And I forgot what this is called. I think it's called yasso, which is their horn. I made two of these, but the other one got away from me. But they're really quick and simple to make. So when it's time for lesson number 3, I will be, lesson number 2, I will be ready. So that's what I mean about not giving up and about the fact that I'm so tenacious and so wanting to see a project through. So I keep pushing. And that is my suggestion to a lot of people. Keep pushing. Now, as far as my channel growth is concerned, I'm still in the threes. I am. I've been with it for a year. As of today, I have 390 subscribers. And I thank each and every one of you. I do encourage everybody to please keep a check on your subscriptions, because YouTube will see that. YouTube will make a decision for you. YouTube will unsubscribe you. So keep an eye on that. It may not be intentional on your end, but YouTube will sure say, hey, I don't even think you need to be here. Maybe they don't cover what you're really looking for. And they don't know what you need when you need it. I don't always need the same thing. So, like I said, my first month with the channel, I loved it because I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to the camera, knowing that someone would be on the other end. And that took away a little bit of stress. One of the things that I have talked about in the past, but I really don't talk about a lot, is the loneliness syndrome. Now, what is the loneliness syndrome? It's a growing trend of social isolation and loneliness affecting individuals worldwide. It was first recognized in 2010, and of course, it worsened. The numbers grew drastically during the pandemic. Loneliness is usually considered to be the psychological manifestation of social isolation. A reflection of the dissatisfaction the individual experiences. I love the fact that many in our community are partnered, and it just makes me, so happy for them. I stepped away from the companionship realm of life 8 years ago. Am I lonely? Yeah, I am. Sometimes it gets a little overbearing. It does, but for the most part, I'm still here. So I'm happy with that. Now, what are the causes of loneliness syndrome? Social isolation. That's less personal contact and fewer social engagements, meaning that parties that you used to go to, you don't go to them. You don't go hang out with your friends, meetups for lunch or dinner. You don't go to clubs anymore. I know me, I don't bowl anymore. I don't even go out to restaurants anymore. When we first moved here in 2020, I used to go to a restaurant a month and give it a little review. And I'm sorry, that's the camera, y'all. But I stopped doing that. And what else causes loneliness syndrome? Demographic trends, like moving. Did it for me. Because whereas I had chosen to take a sabbatical, at least I was around people I knew. I knew I could go sit on my front porch and I could see the guy next door. I could see Miss Ruth across the street. I could see the neighbor across the street who always swore I was taking his packages as I'm walking across the street to give it to him because the mailman didn't know the difference between a 6 and a 7. I'd see the other young guy who always flirted with every female in the, neighborhood. The guy next door who called me auntie. All of these people I had like right there around me. Whenever I went places, stores, restaurants, wherever I went, there was somebody there that I knew that I had seen before that I was familiar with. So then I come over here to Hampton, only 23 minutes away. And I don't know anybody. And I find the people here different, you know, that close, but very different. They're not as friendly. They're not as outgoing. And maybe a lot of where I was because we all kind of knew each other, so it's easy to, hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon to somebody and if they don't answer, they're having a bad day. And if you have the time, then more than likely you stop, see if there's anything you can do. But over here, it seems like everybody's having a bad day. Like I told you last week, I went to the store and I was just walking up to people, smiling, good morning. Good morning. Granted, this was before 7 o'clock in the morning. I went to Walmart doing senior hours or senior hour. And I'm just approaching people, good morning. Good morning. And most of them went from Grinch to who? And it was a happy little Whoville by the time I left. So that made me feel good. So also the empty nest syndrome can cause loneliness for the parents. So used to having your kids around you and then they leave and go off to college or they move out on their own, and you miss them. You miss them stomping through the house and getting mad and calling themselves slamming doors or having to fuss at them for not picking up after themselves. And, you miss all of that. Also, rezoning. Now, rezoning, how does that affect loneliness? It breaks up activities. Um, Even though the place may be the same, it's like, let's say you have an after school place where kids can go, a rec center. Then when it gets rezoned, usually kids have to sign up for those places. And if they're no longer zoned for that place, they can't visit that place like they used to. It's in a different area now. So they don't have the same accesses, which means it pulls them away from friends that they see in the afternoon. It pulls them away from administrative staff that they see in the afternoons or sometimes in the mornings. It pulls them away from that, and that can spark a sense of loneliness. Situational factors, once again, moving. Sometimes you can't help the move that you have to make, especially if you're a military family. Divorce. Divorce can definitely cause loneliness. I'm sure you know that without it being explained. And of course, death. When we lose a loved one, it does play with that loneliness string of our heart. And then there are the internal factors like self-sabotage and poor self-imaging, you know, uh, poor self-esteem. All of those can pull you, into a deep state of loneliness. Now, what impact does loneliness have on health? Physically, loneliness is tied to heart disease, it's tied to stroke, dementia, type 2 diabetes, and premature mortality. That sounds like a hard pill to swallow. You know how people say stress will kill you? When you're lonely, I'm sorry. When you're lonely, you do tend to stress. And that wreaks havoc on the organs in your body. It wreaks havoc on your brain. How does it wreak havoc on your body? Simple. You tend to isolate yourself from everybody else. You're sitting alone. If you're sitting more or you find yourself laying in bed more, your body stiffens. You're not using the same muscles. You're running the risk of running your muscles into atrophy, which means that they're no longer working. You find that when you stand up, it's harder to get yourself going. Whereas today, you can run circles around everybody. Tomorrow, you lay and waddle in the bed for a couple of extra hours just because you don't see the point of getting up right now. And then when you get up, you get that pull in your back or down the back of your thighs or in your calves. And it's like, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I can take the next step, let alone make it through the day. What are the mental health impacts that it can have? It can cause anxiety. The pandemic did that to a lot of us. And I say us because it definitely affected me. The first time I went out, I actually caught the big C. And I was quarantined for 2 weeks, just like everybody else. After I came off quarantine was when my body said, now I'm going to let you feel it. So for a while, I couldn't do anything for myself. My daughter had to help me do everything. So the first time I went out after that, I went to Walmart. I'm standing in line. The lady looks over 6 people standing in front of me and yells, "Sweetie, are you okay?" Because I was standing there shaking and I was sweating like somebody had poured water on me. Mind you all, this is November, so it's not really warm enough for somebody to be standing still sweating. It was a very fearful moment. I couldn't breathe. It was wild, y'all. It can also cause depression. Those periods of feeling low and feeling defeated. How do you combat loneliness? Well, by addressing systematic issues. Become a part of your community, become part of your city. Go to meetings when they do things like rezone or talk about closing facilities in your area and state how much of an impact it'll be to see these places gone. And this is as far as neighborhood separations, downsizings, rezoning, all of those types. Be a voice. Be a voice. Okay? You can also promote healthy mental health. Suggest a therapist. Be a listener. If you don't feel like either one of those will help and you need a mediator, direct them to someone else who may even be going through the same thing. You can shed some light on the situation. Another way to combat it is to strengthen social connections. Have a party. a rehousewarming party, baby showers, um, just because. Invite someone over for dinner, for breakfast, for lunch. Go out with your friends. Get out of the house. Just go. I try to make myself have a little shopping trip every day. Even if I don't buy anything, I will shoot over to Walmart just so that I can be around other people. It is very important to be around other people. Now, let's get to the good stuff, like the crochet. Okay, so we know that I had 30 items on my whip list. It grew to 31, but there's a reason. There is a reason. I can honestly say that there are no longer 31 items on my whip list. It is down to 29. How so? I finished I finished my project bag, y'all, and it is just like I imagined it. I saw this when I saw this yarn, when I saw the macchiato, the macchiato cake. I saw this, and to actually bring into fruition something that I saw just by looking at the yarn just made my heart do flips, good flips, but flips. And I'm really, really happy with it. I'm happy with the handles, and I'm loving the thicker handles as opposed to the drawstring. Right now, I have the rest of the two cakes that I was working with on the inside. So I know that this will hold at least four of those big cakes. So it's a nice size project bag. Um, we know according to the other one that it will hold at least eight skeins. It'll hold at least eight of those. So I'm so happy with that. So what I picked up was I wanted to try what everybody calls instant gratification, which is why I went over to Walmart and got me a little ball of cotton and made a washcloth. Yes, I had made a washcloth. I used my Susan Bates eye hook. I did, trying to see if I see it right here. I did 35 stitches across, and I think we had, no, I did 30 stitches across and 35 rows up. And I've been experimenting, folding it certain ways, trying to see how it could be presented with other washcloths. I came up with the envelope effect and stuff it with washcloths. I came up with something similar to a fan where it just kind of spreads out. I came up with that. That's a few ways. And the reason I did that is because I also went and got the linen color. Now that colorway for the first one that I did is energetic pink. And I know someone who loves pink. And this one is called linen. So started out last night. And I still don't really, being the fact that I completed one, it didn't give me the total gratification I was looking for, but it did satisfy. It sparked me working on something else that needed to be worked on. So what I did, I picked up 5 of these teeny balls of cotton. And this one is Quiet Dahlia. This one is Beach House. Kind of a patriotic look there. And this one is Green Stripes. You can see the different hues of greens. And then, of course, I had the linen and the energetic pink. So I was happy with what I made there. I considered that a success because it sparked me, like I said, to get back to the important stuff. Not that washcloths are not important. Our washcloths have really dwindled, but I did get 3 more rounds added to this last night. This is one project that I will be working on today. I think you all remember me getting to the sprat. So I have the last name. I also have the baby's name. So we have Axel. And then we have the English Bulldog's names, Taco and Tito. Y'all have been busy, I'm telling you. We have the wife's name, Stacy. His favorite parting phrase is love, love, love. And we started on Dalen last night. I'm excited. I got a lot of that worked on. My hippy dippy poncho has grown to 30 inches. So it does come out to just about my wrist comfortably. So it's about 6 more inches that need to be added. And the requirements were it had to be 4 colors. And in case I forget anything that it was supposed to be, I know we have until the end of the month to do it. You can always go to D's Creative. I think it's D's Creative Creations or D's Free. I'll put that down as soon as I find it. So I had an idea for another project bag. This was what was made to jump up to 29. And I wanted to do the bottom in granny squares. Much as I don't like granite squares, I was going to make a granite square project bag. I think I'm going to frog it and do something else. But the colors that I wanted for this were, of course, the mainstay red. Okay, it just says red. You know how they like to name colors? And these are 397 yards of yarn. This one is pink. And they are 4 worsted weight. But I want to put those 2 colors together. I may add an Aran or a white, whatever it is I choose to do with it. So I think I've shown you everything that I have worked on over. Oh, no. This is one right by itself. This is another project bag that I had started and I'm working on. And of course, I have 4 more colors in here. And that's what I do. I throw the colors. Once the colors can go into the bag, I toss the colors in the bag and I work from there. Right now, we're working on the cream. And as soon as we finish the cream, we are going to the brown. This one is going to be slightly different. When I make the project bags, we're going to have the project bags, and then we're going to have it in whatever size that is in a deluxe. What the deluxe is going to be, we're going to have a pouch added to the outside where you can put your paper pattern or whatever you choose to put in that pouch. And I'm also considering putting a water bottle holder over on the side. So as you travel, you'll have everything you need when you're on the go. I'm thinking about adding the pouch to this one, the pattern pouch to this one. And what I want to do is make it stripy. I got a hello. Lana, hi, love. I be on my TV hanging out in the living room with my son. But I had to tell you hello. I gave you a thumb. And that blanket and the poncho are amazing. Nice project bag, too. I love you, too, Lana. Thank you so, 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 so much. I appreciate you as well. Yeah, but these are what I've been working on. I've not been, I mean, even yesterday I took like a 6 hour sabbatical. I think I took like a 2 hour nap in there. And then the other 4 hours, I was just here. But I got so much done. And I am so grateful for, the opportunity to be able to do all of that. Um, Now, an update on the bingo. We still have 44 bingo cards left. 44. All you have to do is, they're $5 a card. I accept payment through Cash App. And I'm putting that information right here. Okay, there you are for the Cash App. And I'll go ahead and put my email address up. This is good for either emailing me with questions, suggestions, or whatever. Um, and it's also directly to my PayPal. So, like I said, these are $5 a card. 7 of them have been sold. We do have enough for a one prize giveaway at this moment. The more tickets we sell, the more prizes we can give, and the better the prizes will be. And keep in mind that, like I said, 7 sold, that's $35. Right now, we're looking at a $15 gift card. Reason you're like, oh, but that's, you have to pay for the gift card. You have to pay to send it off. So there are charges related, to that. So those we have to, we have to consider those in everything that we do. But like I said, they are $5 a card. And we have 44 cards left. They will be on sale until June 15th, which is Father's Day. Um, yeah. And you have until July 15th to complete the tasks on your card. Once you complete the task, send pictures to my Facebook page, which is Create and Relate with the C. That's going to change in August. As of right now, that is the page. But the name of the page is going to change in August, and it's still going to be Create and Relate, but it's going to be with the K. And I will have a moderator, and you will have to ask a question to be able to come in. So right now, it's just an empty page. But The 17th is when we will have the drawing. I had a suggestion to let Siri do the drawing. And like I said, right now I have 7 entries, and I will tell Siri to pick a number, or Google or Alexa. We have all 3. I will ask one of those ladies to pick a number between 1 and how many, tickets we have out, and let her choose the tickets. We will start from the smallest prize and go to the largest if we sell more tickets, and that's applicable. Okay? So that's what I had to say about that. We will have the auction this coming Saturday, which is the 14th. I'm excited about it. I am. I love what we do when we do that there. Yes. So I'm super excited about the auction coming up on Saturday. I do have a couple of things. You saw one of them that we're adding to the repertoire of things that we have, or our arsenal, or, Okay, let's add that one now. And that way you can see both. There you are. I keep pressing the button to show on stage. So hopefully it shows up now. There it is. Tie and tie. So we got it up there. Yeah. So guys, if you are feeling lonely, and don't confuse lonely with alone. Alone means by yourself. There are a lot of people who can be alone and not be lonely. Okay? You can also be lonely when you're amongst 1,000 people. So they are 2 very different things. Sound a lot alike, but they're very different. But if you do feel lonely, reach out to someone. Michelle tells us all the time to have a conversation with a real person, not just your phone, not your TV, not texting, not all of those other things. Have physical contact with someone. Be able to sit down and hold a conversation with them. Go to the store where you can intermingle with other people. Treat yourself to a restaurant. Go get your nails done. Nails done, hair did. Go, like I said, go treat yourself. Go get a massage. Those masseuses tend to be very good therapists, not only with their hands, but they offer some really, really good advice from my experience. I'm just saying, they really, really do. And if you see it happening with your kids, encourage them to do the same thing. And everybody, please, if you're one who thinks this, please stop thinking that therapists are taboo. Please stop thinking that. They are not an indication that you're crazy. They're here to help you through your situations. They're here to give you tools with which to work so that you can get through these feelings of loneliness, these anxiety battlegrounds that go on in your head. They help you with all of that without medicating you. Now, if it's medication that you think you need, you can always go to a psychiatrist. Okay? So those are just some hints, tips, and ideas. Just a little bit of talk today. so that we can all combat loneliness. Don't forget to go check out your video star of the week, met at Gilded Loops Crochet. I hid my paper from myself. Yeah, I got it right. Gilded Loop Crochet. But I am going to do a separate video about that. Don't forget, he has 320 subscribers. So let's go throw some yarn in his window and help him build his channel as well. He's very pleasant to listen to. I didn't get any background on him. I don't know how long he's been crocheting or anything like that. But from what I've seen, he does a really good job. Okay. All right, guys. We are going to wrap things up here. And I am going to continue to sip on my coffee. The grandkids got out of school early. It is early release. And I need some loving from my babies. So I'm going to tell you at this point to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Know that Kitty Lane loves you. And remember that Kitty Lane told you. And until we meet each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.